All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Heron's Haven podcast here on the SoFlo Soccer channel. Today, we are doing the Inter Miami CF preview for match day 16 of the 2024 regular season in the MLS against the Vancouver Whitecaps for the first time ever in the club's history. Very, very excited. We do have a lot to cover and a lot to talk about today. So, obviously, we're going to do a bit of a recap of what happened last time out against DC. Then we'll talk a little bit about certain players in the squad, injuries, player of the matches, things like that. And then we'll talk about Messi because, of course, we can't go an episode without talking about Messi. And then we'll finish it off talking about the Whitecaps, just a little bit of what to expect for the game this Saturday. And then we'll wrap it up with a predicted starting 11 and a prediction for the final score. Um, Same thing, routine, just we just have quite a bit to talk about, really. So this may go on for a little bit longer than usual, and which is totally fine. Maybe it should be max 45 minutes. I don't plan on being live for much longer than that because I know people have things to do and they would much rather be doing other things than listening to the podcast. So, or at least for 45 minutes, right? So, anyways, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. First, obviously, like I said, this is going to be the first time that Inter Miami actually go and play at Vancouver against the Whitecaps ever in their history. Very, very historic for them. Um, so there is going to be a lot of expectations for this game. Obviously, we have the winning streak that we have to keep alive. I believe we're going on 8 games undefeated right now. So, and Vancouver, they're going to want to break that, right? So, very historic day, very big game for both sides. Let's talk about what happened last time out against DC United. Obviously, we won 1-0 very, very dramatically. Late Campana goal, 94th minute. He came off the bench in the 90th and he found a pocket of space behind the defensive line. They were too busy sleeping on Messi and Suarez. They completely forgot about Campana. Ran in behind, finish off the crossbar. We steal the 3 points against DC United. What a way to end that game at home as well. So, very, very lucky, honestly, in my opinion, that we did walk away with the 3 points. It did look like DC were actually going to score that game, but I'm not going to go too much into that because I obviously already did a review for that game. If you want to check that out, I do have a playlist, link in the description, or if you go under the channel under playlists, you'll find every episode that I've done, preview and review for these types of games. And the videos are now the videos are now available on Spotify for you to listen to. Obviously, they're more edited. They're not exactly what's happening here in the video. So, like for example, at this part, I'm probably going to be cutting out on Spotify. So, but yeah, but no, dramatic game, Campana late winner. And we're going to be talking about Campana in just a second. But well, no, yeah, let's talk about Campana right now. So we'll talk about Campana. He has been named one of the as team of the match day, one of the players for team of the match day for match day 15 for week 15. Just due to that late goal being an immediate impact off the bench. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. He is a very, very crucial player for Inter Miami. Um, he he doesn't get a lot of game time now that Suarez is here, but I've always said Suarez is getting old. Obviously, he's only playing for this season. As soon as the season ends, Suarez is gone. So we're going to need to bring on Campana a lot more. Whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, I don't know. But we can't keep bringing him on in the 90th minute and expect this to happen every single time. Um, I think that Campana needs to start more games, especially that Suarez does tend to slow down quite a bit. He does get a little lost, I would say, in some games. So he really, really plays well, and he's really, really crucial to the attack. But at the same time, Campana, he's younger. He's still a really big threat in front of goal. And I think if we use him properly in the front three and we give him enough game time, then he can continue to be the striker and the number 9 that we need. So, congratulations to Campana for being named part of the team of the match day for week 15. And yes, continuing on with the squad, we have 2 more players to talk about, or I guess essentially 3, including Messi. We need to talk about 2 things. I'm going to start off with the bad news and then go into the good news, okay? Let's start with the bad news. Nicolas Freire, okay? Nico Freire is out injured. This is devastating news, and it's devastating because why? It is a very long-term injury, okay? One of our key defenders, obviously, he suffered uh, that injury in the second half at DC United. He tore his right ACL, and now he's got to go undergo surgery, and he will be out for the remainder of the season, according to Inter Miami CF on their website. This is, like I said, absolutely devastating for the club, for us, obviously, performance-wise. I don't know if you heard my dog. I'm really hoping that's not coming in because he's barking pretty loud. But yeah, absolutely devastating for the club. Performance-wise, he is a very crucial piece of the team, crucial piece of the defense. And honestly, like we've always had pretty much the entirety of the season, we don't really have a lot of depth in general, really. So for him to be gone is going to be really, really bad for us defensively, especially because our defense has already been pretty leaky, already been pretty shaky. And losing somebody like Freire, it's a real kick in the gut, a real kick in the gut. So somebody's gonna have to step up, whether whether we switch and we switch tactics completely, because we have seen Busquets play as a center back in the past. We have seen obviously Noah Allen play center back. We have Kritsov, so we're not completely in loss, but losing somebody like Freire, being our main center back, our starting center back, is a huge L. And I really hope for him to have a speedy recovery and with no problems at all. But yeah, I'm very curious as to what Tata Martino will cook up with his absence. I mean, he could easily just start Kritsov, but we've always complained, and I feel like it's not just me, but like the majority of the fan base, the supporters of Inter Miami CF, that he's just very slow. He's very sluggish, and while he's not a bad defender, like I said, his slowness, his pace, his agility really just negatively impacts the squad. When it comes to, especially when we get played on counterattacks, he's just not quick enough transitioning back on defense, and it could cost us. And we've seen it very recently when he rejoined the starting 11 not that long ago. I forget who it was against, but not that long ago, he was pretty much a liability at that point, because his positioning was off, his communication with Chelo and Aviles were off, obviously because they all speak Spanish. Kritsov doesn't speak any Spanish. So yeah, it's really bad. So I'm not sure if Kritsov is gonna get the start, if they'll give it to Busquets, they'll move him at center back, or they'll play Noah Allen at center back, maybe bring Kritsov off the bench. Not really too sure about that, but we're going to have to figure something out, especially against this Montreal side, who are going to want to get the 3 points at their home stadium against Miami. And it's going to be, no, but very sad news. Hopefully, Freire has a quick and speedy recovery. More on the brighter side, I guess you could say, for injuries, even though injuries aren't really a bright side. But this but this topic is good because this is about Ian Frey. For those of you who don't keep up with the second team, or Ian Frey made his return back to football after months and months, maybe even a year or a little over a year. He made his return to football with the second team just the other day when he came on in around the 60th minute and immediately making impact, getting an assist for the equalizing goal in the game. I believe it was against Chattanooga. So yeah, very happy. He's been, as you guys know, he's been out with a ligament injury, as like I said, out for like pretty much the entirety of last season and a little bit, I'm pretty sure, of the season prior, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's been gone for a really long time, and all the fans miss him. All the OG Miami fans, all the hardcore Miami fans really miss him and can't wait for him to make his return. I'm very excited for him to make his return. He's most likely not going to be playing this weekend against Vancouver. I mean, he might travel, but I highly doubt it. But I just wanted to bring this up because this just is good signs for the near future, because Freire is going to be out for the rest of the season. I'm not saying that we're going to be expecting Ian Frey to kind of pick it up, straight away. But I mean, we're gonna hope that he hits the ground running. But I think it should be exciting the fact that he's back, playing again, back from injury, playing again with the second team. He's going to be getting those minutes. Like the same thing happened with Negri. He was getting minutes for the second team and then made a really nice transition into the first team, like he never left, honestly. So hopefully Ian Frey can make that same transition from the second team to the first team. Um, and especially now we're going to need it more than ever, especially with, like I said, with Freire being out for the rest of the season. And I literally can't say that enough. And it's like, it's killing me every time I say it. Honestly, being out for the rest of the season is never, never, ever fun. But yeah, very, very excited for Ian Frey's future return, whether that is next month or the month after that. Not really too sure, but he will be making a return very, very soon. So be on a lookout for Ian Frey off the bench or any news regarding Frey. Before we get into the Whitecaps, let's talk a little bit about Messi. So there have been rumors circulating, like always, about him experiencing some sort of discomfort during training with his left leg. And, as you guys know, I mean, as everybody knows, everybody pays attention to Messi, and every slight movement or every slight grab of the leg really, really frightens people. I know it frightens me more than it should, honestly. But he's been well during training. Apparently, there have been no visual issues or visible issues from the outside. He looked perfectly fine. He looked perfectly healthy, um, which should be a sigh of relief to everybody either listening or everybody who has read that news. But obviously, he is a key figure in the lineup, in the starting 11 for just the team, creating chances, scoring goals, and things like that. He is just obviously a crucial, crucial piece of the puzzle. And whether Inter Miami fans want to accept it or not, I've had to accept it in recent times. It's just a completely different team without Messi. When Messi doesn't play, this team is just something else. We can't score, we can't create chances, and it's just a lesser team. It's just a weaker team. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you have the best player in the world at your side, you're expected to perform at a pretty high level. I mean, I guess like intellectually and technically speaking, you'll be playing at a higher level. You'll have that player with high intelligence, high ball skill, high ball knowledge, and yeah, with somebody like Messi in your team, it just makes life a lot easier. So I honestly think he won't be missing the game completely. He probably will play partially. Like he'll probably play 45 minutes, maybe 60 minutes, and then he'll get subbed off. Just not to risk anything, because you know how that is. He really, really, really doesn't want to risk any long-term negative, bad, serious injuries on Lionel Messi, as he is like the prized gem. He is the jewel of Miami. Especially now because he has the Copa America literally right around the corner. The international break doesn't start for another couple of weeks. I think it's in early June or like mid June. So he's gonna want to be ready for that, right? And there's no way Messi's gonna miss that. But yeah, I think Messi's gonna be playing at least for at least 45 minutes this weekend. It's gonna be a late game, so yeah, I don't expect him to play for the entirety of the match. But anyways, moving on, let's talk a little bit about the Whitecaps. So for Vancouver side, we did have an interview with their head coach, Vanni Sartini, and he kept it really, really cool. He was asked about what it was like, facing Messi or seeing Messi, and um, and just like how he would react, I guess. And he just responded saying that he just wasn't going to be excited, or he wasn't going to be excited when he sees Messi. He said that he's more excited to see David Beckham. Him and his wife are more excited to see David Beckham than they are seeing Lionel Messi. He said it's a generational thing. I thought it was very funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, Beckham was a dog back in the day, and I honestly don't I don't blame him for being excited for seeing David Beckham. I know I would as well. But yeah, he says that obviously people are going to be cheering for Messi every time he touches the ball. People are going to clap. Nobody's going to really boo. So it's going to be he's expecting a good atmosphere, a good crowd. Honestly, I think it's expected to be not maybe not sold out, but almost sold out. And honestly, wherever Messi goes, that's just what happens. That is part of the Messi effect. But yeah, he like I said, he's going to be wanting to get a win this weekend. Him and his side have been in I want to say rough form, but don't want to be too harsh on them because they did have a really difficult schedule. They suffered defeats against LAFC and Colorado, and then they tied against Seattle, and then they haven't won in their last 4 games, right? So they're really, really desperate to seek a win in front of their home ground in Vancouver against Miami of all teams. There's just a lot of drive, a lot of passion, a lot of energy behind this game. So they're gonna come out. I'm expecting for them to come out fighting. They're gonna play hard. They could play rough. They're gonna play with a lot of passion, a lot of fire, and I think the supporter sections are really gonna bring it to us as well. But yeah, like I said, I mean, they do have a couple of players that we should be keeping an eye out for. The mainly with the research that I have done, the very limited amount of research that I have done. Some of the players to look out for. One is their defender. They have a young Uruguayo named Laborda, 6 foot, 24 years old defender from Uruguay. Um, should be probably their best center back, I would say, in my opinion. Then up top, I think in the attack, their main threats is their striker White and Picot. I think it's how you say it. It's a French name, so I'm Picot. But they're pretty much the two best attacking players. I mean, they also have that winger Gold, so they do have a lot of attacking options. They normally play with the 4 midfield, 3 center back formation, so like the 5 at the back, 5 I guess 4 midfield, whatever. And they play with the 3 attackers up top. So they're gonna have a lot of attacking options going forward if they do get us on the counter. But yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very difficult, I think, for us because I feel like they're just going to play like any other team has been playing and just constantly hit us on a counterattack or just like soak in all the pressure. And then, as soon as they see the opportunity, it's like, boom, they're going to exploit those wings. They're going to have like they're going to get those center mids up, the wings up. So they're going to have like 5 or 6 players attacking on that counter. And then on defense at the same time, they're going to have their 3 center backs with the fullbacks and then the 2 CDMs. So everybody's going to be in the box. So defensively and offensively, they could be really, really, it could be really difficult for us for Inter Miami. I mean, like that's how every team has been playing. That's how they're most likely going to play. So whether we do well against it or not, we've obviously we've secured wins and draws in the past with that tactic, but we're gonna have to make sure, especially away from home at that late at night of a kickoff, we have to make sure that we're ready. We do have Skrilla in the YouTube chat for those of you listening on Spotify saying Redondo back in training with the team. Uh maybe he's going to do the trip to Vancouver, or maybe he's going to play on Wednesday against Atalanta. When I did look up the injury list, I did not see his name. So honestly, maybe he could be um he honestly, I mean, we're still in early May. They predicted that he wouldn't be back until June, like mid June. I honestly highly doubt that he'll play this weekend. I mean, they'll probably test him out next week off the bench, but they're going to really have to not take too many risks, especially with his injury. I'm pretty sure he had a knee injury, so they're probably going to be doing what they've been doing with Frey and just put him in the second team, allow him to get some minutes, allow for his fitness and his sharpness to get up, and then as soon as he's ready, they'll transition him into the first team. Probably, I highly doubt he'll be playing this weekend. Honestly, it's way too soon. As soon as somebody is back in training, it's very, very unlikely for them to immediately play in a game, whether that's starting or off the bench. It's just very, very risky, and it's way, way too soon. But I appreciate that comment. I appreciate you telling me that he's back in training. Um, Honestly, I've been very, very excited for Redondo's return. So hopefully he makes a quick and a speedy return, and he doesn't get. And I don't want him to be rushed. I absolutely do not want him to be rushed because that just risks more injury. So I prefer him to not play this weekend, even next week against Atlanta. Um, for him to be fully fit for future games. But yeah, anyways, honestly, we're making pretty good time on the podcast. I think we're approaching 20 minutes. And what's it called? We don't have that much honestly to talk about. We just have to do a predicted starting 11, maybe just talk about some uh key tactics that we should probably look into or change or continue, and then we'll do a score prediction and then we'll wrap it up. And Skrilla again in the chat saying, I think Vancouver is going to do like DC, playing the back five and defend and go counterattacking. Yeah, that's literally what I just said like a minute ago. They're probably just going to soak up that pressure. I think every team has been playing like that we faced, soaking up that pressure and playing the counterattack. I just feel like that's the general vibe in MLS in general. I feel like a lot of teams play that way, just soaking up pressure and then looking for a counter, and it's gonna work. That's how Vancouver plays normally, anyways. They play with a five midfield, five at the back type of formation, um, with the three forwards up. Excuse me, I just like burped. With the three forwards up top, and then they're just gonna be very very dangerous. I think, in my opinion, if they're able to execute that correctly, and we're not quick enough in transitioning from offense to defense when we do lose the ball, especially I'm looking at Chelo and Kritsov. If he does make the start, it's gonna be rough for us. It's gonna be very 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 difficult. But speaking of that, let's go into the predicted starting 11, or my predicted starting 11 for this upcoming fixture. So I think in goal obviously is going to be Drake Callender, right? Unfortunately, there is just still no competition for him. I mean, not that I'm complaining. I love Drake Callender. I'm not like these other people who are trying to get rid of him or trying to sell him or trade him or whatnot. I just really wish he would have competition in goal. But I like that he's our main guy. We're gonna stick with him. So Drake Callender in goal, and the back four, obviously with Freire out, we're going to have to readjust. Now, I've said that there are multiple ways that Tata can go with this, right? Tata can play um, Busquets as the center back. He could play maybe Aviles more higher up. He could probably play Gressel as like, because what he can do is he could put Busquets as a center back and then just have Gressel transition into that defense when Busquets pushes up. Gressel can probably stay back, or vice versa, or I don't know, have somebody like Ruiz or something, or a Noah Allen, or even a Bright play in that midfield and dropping back to cover for Busquets' role. But I'm saying like Busquets on defense because I think he would help dictate the defense a lot better with him there. I mean, he could probably do the same in the midfield, but I don't know. That's just an option, right? That doesn't mean they're actually going to play that way, or if that's the right way to play. We do have Daniel Rodriguez in the chat. Welcome back, saying the thing is that if they do not do that, they will leave the pitch with a beating, like it happened to the New York Red Bulls. I think I understand what you're trying to say. You're saying if Vancouver play counterattack, if they don't play with the counterattacking football, they're going to leave with the beating, which is 100% true. They're going to have to drop back as many players as they can, right? Especially when it comes to stopping Messi, Suarez, Campana, whether it's Rojas or Taylor up there. They're going to have to put as many defenders in the box as they possibly can. And then as soon as Miami loses the ball, they have to take advantage of their slow transitions. Especially if they start Kritsov in the back, they're going to exploit it, especially with Chelo as well, because he does tend to push pretty high, and then sometimes he can't fully make the recovery. But if they're able to take advantage of that, like I said, it's going to be very, very, very dangerous. But yeah, so I think at the end of the day, for the back four, Jordi Alba is going to be in that left back spot. Aviles is going to be there. I don't want to say it, but Kritsov is going to be making the start. I would much rather prefer maybe like a Bright or a Noah Allen, but I just don't see that happening for Tata Martino. I mean, if he does, good for him. But it's going to be Kritsov. He has the experience. He's a solid center back. He is slow, yes, but we need a tank, we need a rock, and maybe he could be that guy, right? Even though hopefully the communication is just a lot better between him and the other defenders, because you can really tell, like I said before, last time out when he did start with Chelo and Aviles and Negri, there was just a lot of miscommunication. They were all yelling at each other. Chelo was like losing his mind and things like that. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. But for the midfield three, I think with Benja, I think with the same midfield, right? Benja with Sergio Busquets as the DM and then Gressel, I think that midfield should be pretty solid, especially with Gressel going, um, moving up and dropping back constantly throughout the game, with Busquets dictating the tempo and then Gremashi playing as like an attacking midfield role. Um, Especially if we have players like Robert Taylor, like cutting in and things like that, or Suarez dropping deep, or Messi dropping deep. I think it'll be pretty solid. Like I think that's a solid midfield and probably the best midfield we have outside of Redondo, right? Um, and I think for the attacking three, I think Suarez is going to hit the bench, and and not only did I think, I just really want Suarez to hit the bench for this game. I think Campana has not that I don't know if him proving himself is the right word, but he just deserves a start. I think Campana deserves a start. I really miss Campana when he did play games. Um, I mean, if Campana starts and he's just not playing well, then sure, take him off, put Suarez in. But I think he deserves a start, especially after getting the last minute winner last time out, when Suarez not disappeared entirely, but he couldn't really put anything away, and he was looking pretty slow sometimes. So I think Campana is going to make a start. I think Messi's going to play for the first 45 and then come off at half. And then on the left wing, I think Robert Taylor is going to start with Matias Rojas coming off the bench once again. Now, I think Matias Rojas could come off the bench for Messi, and I think that'll be a pretty good sub, regardless if Messi plays or not. But I think Matias Rojas is a really good player. I just don't want. I feel like having him and Messi and Suarez is really good. But if we want to play, if Messi's not going to be able to play the full 90, I don't want Matias Rojas playing the full 90 either. I want Matias Rojas to come in for Messi and then have Robert Taylor play the full 90 with Campana or Suarez or whoever you end up starting. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah. We have Skrilla in the chat saying again, I think that is going to do like the Revs game, Vancouver play on turf. So he is going to start Campana and bring Suarez in the second half. Yeah, no, honestly, I completely forgot they play on turf. Yeah, so that's another thing, man. That's another thing. Playing on turf is very dangerous, and I highly doubt. I just don't think they're going to be playing Messi the full 90. Don't think they're going to be playing Suarez the full 90. I Yeah, so Messi's gonna come off at half. Suarez might come off at half or like maybe around the hour mark. And I'm going to see. I would want to see Campana play for the majority of the game. I would want to see Matias Rojas play for the majority of the game because they are two quality players. Whether he plays in the wing or whether he plays in the midfield, I think on the wing he'd be a lot better because he is already an attacking player. Um, I think for Racing he played mainly on the left wing and like he would cut. He played on one of the wings and he would cut. So I think he'd be pretty crucial if he does come on for Messi at halftime. I think it'll be really good for us. Rojas plays in the midfield. Now he's an attacking player. I mean, like whether he plays in the midfield or wing, it's gonna. I honestly think it's gonna be the same because he's gonna be getting forward a lot anyways. For players like Remachi and for Gressel, they get up and down the field in that midfield, and Busquets is the only one that pretty much holds his position. And he'll get up a little bit, but he pretty much holds that center defensive mid position as he should, right? But yeah. Last but not least, we are hitting the 30-hour mark. Last but not least, let's talk about a score prediction, ladies and gentlemen. Score prediction this weekend. Inter Miami versus Vancouver Whitecaps, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're playing on turf, away from home, 10:30 p.m. It's probably going to be cold, regardless of it being May. The players are probably not accustomed to it. So, with the starting 11 that I predict going out there, I want to say that we do keep the unbeaten streak alive. However, I do not, I don't know, like, because this game could go either two ways, right? We could completely destroy Vancouver, or we can tie 1-1. It's literally one or the other. I do not see us losing this game at all. Like, I see no chance, no universe where I see Inter Miami lose against Vancouver. Not because Vancouver are like a bad team or anything. They're a really good team. They're having a pretty decent season, even though they are in a bit of a rough patch of form recently because they have been playing really good teams. They've been playing the Seattle Sounders. They play Colorado, LAFC. I just don't see Inter Miami dropping points to Vancouver. I think they're on a roll. They might secure a point here. I would want them to win. If I were to make a safe bet, I think it's a 1-1 draw. If I were to make a safe bet. If Vancouver are playing that counterattacking football and Drake Calendar's on his game and he makes those saves and the defense are on their game and they make those tackles, we're doing a 1-1 draw. If if I want to go all out, right? I think a 2-1, maybe a 3-1 victory is a reasonable guess as a win. I think if our attackers are on point, especially if we can get a solid first half, which honestly we haven't been ever, but I feel like maybe this could be the game to break it. If we get a solid first half, with Messi creating some chances, or Robert Taylor, or Campana, or Benja, or anybody, whether it's a set piece or whatever the case may be, I think with a good first half, I think we'll be able to see the result out. So whether that's a 2-1 win, a 2-0 win, a 3-1 win, I don't see a 1-0 win. I definitely see Vancouver scoring at some point. If they don't score, then that means we just had a hell of a defensive effort that game, right? So I think the two game clean sheet is, you know, the two game clean sheet, um I guess, what do you call it? Streak. Yeah, I think the two game clean sheet streak is going to end this weekend in Colorado. I just see us conceding. I just really see us conceding, especially with their counterattacking football. Um, I'm gonna go with the final prediction. I'm gonna do a 2-1 win for Miami. I think we might be able to pull it off in the second half and maybe in the last minutes of the game. I'm not expecting a complete domination away from home on turf. 10:30 p.m. kickoff. I'm not expecting a complete domination. I'll be very, very happy with the draw. Honestly, if with the 1-1 draw, I'll be happy. Excuse me. I'll be happy and I won't be mad. A 2-1 win would be ideal. A 1-0 loss or any loss at all is an absolute failure. And I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, if we lose, I want us to lose like properly. I don't want us to lose because we played absolutely terribly. But yeah, we'll see how it is. But if anybody wants to put their predictions in the chat, we could take them now. We could talk about it for a bit, and then if not, then we'll wrap it up here, and then I'll have to edit it and post it on Spotify. But yeah, late kickoff, man. I mean, I really wish it wasn't so late. 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. So the game will probably end around midnight. So I mean, and I said in the previous review, don't know if I'm going to be doing the post game reaction that late. I mean, I probably will. I probably will. Honestly, I just won't be talking as loud. I'll just have to be like whispering the whole time. So I don't know. Depending on the situation, I'll probably just save it till Sunday, either Sunday or Monday. And I think it would just be better, honestly, for everybody. Everybody's gonna be tired. They're gonna want to go to sleep after the game's over, and whatnot. So yeah. Well, we'll see how we're feeling on Saturday. But I'll always keep you guys updated on Twitter. Those links will be in the description. If you want to check out the Heron Haven podcast, it'll be in the description as well. My Instagram is also in the description and things like that. So, don't see any comments, so we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Heron's Haven podcast, match day 16 against the Vancouver Whitecaps in Canada, 10:30 p.m. kickoff this Saturday. It's going to be very difficult. and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this game. I hope you guys are too. I'll be tweeting during that game. I'll be posting on Twitter, so you could follow me in the link in the description on YouTube. If you are listening to me on Spotify, thank you so much for listening and tuning into this episode. Please share it with your friends, have them join the live, interact with the chat, and we'll talk Inter Miami together. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning into the SoFo Soccer channel, and I'll see you guys this Saturday. Hopefully, vamos Miami.